Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, Pride has been a bit rough so far. Pride pretty much started off with the murder, the homophobic hate crime killing of Jonathan Joss, who apparently was in King of the Hill. I saw the show a couple of times, never watched it. Don't know what character he played, but he was gay in real life. He had a partner. He had a neighbour, allegedly a homophobic neighbour, who would throw homophobic attacks at them all the time. Someone burnt their house down, I wonder who. They went back to the house, and then this guy allegedly attacked them on the front lawn and tried to shoot the husband dead, and he stepped in front and saved his husband and died in his husband's arms. And then the Texas police had the gall to say, oh, it's not a hate crime. There's no evidence of it being a hate crime. Well, they got a talking to. And they turned around and said, no, that was a hate crime. Yeah, sorry, we shouldn't have jumped the gun there. I'm like, oh, what, by trying to cover it up? Oh, okay. So, yeah, so they eventually got bitch slapped hard enough they actually admitted what it was. So that's good that it's acknowledged for what it is. It's horrible that it happened. And Pride itself is under attack because, of course, Trump and all the people who are all now emboldened by him, who are openly attacking gay marriage and trans rights and trans healthcare and everything. And, you know, we've got all those trans women who can't go into female bathrooms, who now apparently, allegedly, supposedly have to go into male bathrooms, even though they are women now. And all the women who are now men have to go into the women's bathrooms looking like men. So what the hell did that achieve? So that's a mess. And we've had people being arrested. We've had people being assaulted. It's just a huge mess. And the other issue is funding. A lot of people are scared to support or fund Pride events. So there are a lot of Pride events that aren't happening, a lot of Pride events that have been cut back on, a lot of Pride events that had to be funded secretly. And I will give credit to the people who are still funding them, but they just don't want anyone to know about it. It's like, we do support the community, we want to help you, we don't want to cut your funding, but we don't want the people who are going to come after us, because it's not that we think it's wrong, it's not like they've changed our mind, but we don't want to deal with them trying to cancel our business. So I have some sympathy for those people who are still supporting but just don't want their name on the float sort of thing. Like, normally be like, hey, you know, sponsored by. It's like, no, don't involve us. We want to help you. We want you out there, you know, spreading your glitter and your fabulousness, but we don't want to be attacked for it. So there are people running scared, and a lot of them are pulling out their support. Others are not, but they're wanting to do it privately. So I'm giving them some credit. But the gays had to find a lot of funding. Some places, some things they actually had to start charging a fee so they could actually do it. So for the first time in like 30 years, some events you have to pay to enter. So I think the people who entered in the march had to pay $10 or something, some little fee, just actually march. And that's enough to fund this and that. But they've never had to do that before. But it's like, we're not going down. We will find ways around this. We will survive. But yeah, the gay community is under threat, the trans community particularly, and Pride is under attack. And all these people say, what do you need Pride for? Look in the comments section, bitch. Why do you think? Because there's homophobes everywhere, and we're still fighting stereotypes and discrimination and all these things. And I'm glad Pride happens. Like, you know, I grew up not knowing about this. I remember the first time I saw Pride of any type and knew this was something was In Bed with Madonna, when the dancers go to the Pride March. And then there was a film 7 years later, Jeffrey, where they go to, I think, the New York Pride, and they film some scenes there and that. And that's the first time I knew about this. And I already should have known, but I didn't know this stuff existed. I didn't even know we had our own Pride March in Melbourne and stuff like that. I heard about Mardi Gras, but I didn't know about Mardi Gras when I was younger. No one talked about it. So all this stuff is really important, because there are people who still feel like they don't deserve to live, and they've got nothing to live for with being gay. And these people need to know, you know, they need to know that they you know, are worth, you know, they're worthy. Just because they're gay doesn't mean they're not worth, you know, anything. And then that's what Pride is, being proud of who you are, what you are, and celebrating that. And there are people who need that message because they're not getting that message anywhere else in their life from anyone else. And it's an important thing, and we won't go away. Part of me is glad that's becoming less corporate, that the corporations will walk away and will become more of a community funded thing, because it started off that way, and then once the corporations realised, oh, we can make some money out of the Queens, we can get some, some pink dollar here, they started to take over, and that we got to a point where floats were being pushed out from communities in place of like the Disney float and stuff like that, because they were sponsoring it. And y'all probably don't realise, but the gay and lesbian Mardi Gras was actually bought and like commercialised, and technically it's the Sydney Mardi Gras, not the Sydney Gay and Lesbian. Like, there's a whole lot of politics behind it all. It's a huge mess in Australia, and I think we need to get corporate sponsorships out of it and take it back to community again, and not be for profit. And the other organisation, America's going to have to do that too. And if they do, the community will keep it afloat, and it won't die, and it'll be safer because it won't be able to be infiltrated or So yeah, I'm still talking up to 6 minutes. I'm trying to do shorter videos. I just can't stop talking. But yeah, so Pride started off bad. It got hilarious with Donald Trump and Elon Musk breaking up, and the girls were fighting. It was pretty nasty. It was pretty messy. Pretty entertaining. But we'll see. We've got 3 more weeks left. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Pride Month and how they're faring in this new era, where they're openly under attack, and we're all openly under attack now, and need Pride, more than ever.